Good afternoon, Mr. Witness. You may kindly take your seat. Mr. Witness, for continuation of your testimony before this Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and related matters, I want to remind you that you are still under oath before I hand you over to Madam Chair for us to proceed. Thank you. Madam Chair, over to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Batchily.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
You are welcome back.
Thank you very much.
All right. Council, we may proceed.
Yes, Mr. Batchily, we had the mayors who testified regarding the administration of Banjul City Council. When did you start working with the mayors?
We started working in 2018.
2018?
Yes.
And for how many years have you worked with the mayors?
Up till 2024 February.
You had opportunity to listen to the testimony of the mayors?
Yes, I was privileged enough.
She mentioned that for Banjul City Council, that the CEO and the finance director are the most powerful, that they cannot be controlled. Whatever they want to do, if they don't want the administration to know, there's no way they will know. Have you heard that?
Yes.
What is your reaction to that?
Well, I would not agree to that.
Why will you not agree to that?
Because everything that we used to do at the council, she was part of it, or she knew what we were doing.
Can you please repeat that?
I said everything that we used to do at the council, I would disagree if she comes here and says that she was not part of it or she did not know anything about it. I would disagree vehemently.
Why will you disagree?
I would disagree because starting with meetings.
Meetings.
Of course, the management meeting normally doesn't comprise of the mayor.
Yes.
It's mostly the CEO and the members of senior staff.
Yes.
Yeah, but then the thing is, all our minutes for the management and also all the committee meetings, including the contracts committee meeting, the minutes, were all given to her, to her office.
All these minutes are always forwarded to her, to her office?
They are always copied to her. And also when we have, like we used to have morning briefings every time, myself, herself, and the senior management, we normally used to have meetings, briefings in our office. So it really came to me as a surprise that we are just maybe running the council without them knowing, because if not anything, she is representing the council. So you can see that most of these meetings, we had to bring her on board by virtue of being the head of the council.
Yes. And so that is why you categorically deny or refuse to accept her statement that she is not aware of so many things.
Yeah.
And what is the level of involvement of the mayors in, I know you have said the daily briefings, I know you have said the meetings that you have, the minutes of meetings will be forwarded to her office, and can you, Mr. Batchily, as CEO of Banjul City Council, can you do anything you want in Banjul City Council without Roy Malik Law knowing?
Well, it would depend on in which instances.
Can you do anything you want? Do you have absolute control of the area council? You as the CEO, total control, absolute control, so much so that whatever you want is what happens. Is that how it is run? Because that is how she portrays it.
No, that is not the way I used to run my administration.
That's not how it works.
That is not the way I used to run my administration.
All right.
I think even the senior staff members who formed the management committee would agree to me. I'm very consultative. very consultative. In fact, like I say, they could attest to the fact that whenever things happen, I always want to try and have a consensus.
If the mayoress does not agree for you to make a payment, will you still go ahead and pay?
It would depend on what kind. If it's a payment that has to be done, with or without her saying yes or
Yes.
no, yeah, it will be done.
So there's a threshold, of course you know about this,
Yes,
in the financial manual
yes,
that gives you a certain limit as to what you can authorize.
yes.
And the mayoress will have a certain limit as to what she can authorize.
Yes.
And then the council will have the ultimate, if it passes above the mayor's limitations. We know at council you did not pass a resolution of that sort, but on a daily basis, as a matter of practice, do you have a limit that you can authorize above which she has to be aware, or is she aware of every major payment?
I can say clearly that she used to be aware of all the major payments that were done. Because like I said, we always used to have consultative meetings in the morning. So all issues that require, payments, especially payments of bigger magnitudes, she's always informed.
I had told you when we met the last time here that I had accused you of being a rubber stamp. You recall that?
Yeah.
Doing almost everything that the mayors want. You recall that?
Yeah, recall.
The mayoress sat here and her testimony was such that, in fact, it appears as if she is the one who is maybe the victim, that it is the opposite side. You are the ones who will do whatever you want. And for her, she just have to be advised by the CEO, but apparently has no say in practice. I made reference to the law of the powers of the mayors and the power of the mayor in administration. He still states that what obtains in Banjul is that the CEO has the ultimate power. You are the be-all and the end-all. You are the overall boss. In fact, more powerful than council, more powerful than the mayors. Mr. Batchily, are you that powerful?
I am certainly not that powerful. Certainly not. Like I just explained. But first of all, let me make a clarity. With regards to the issue of thresholds,
Yes.
we did not operate along those lines.
Yes.
I think I have to be very specific about that. But then secondly, I'm coming back to this issue of things were being done without her knowledge. I am continuously, and I will continuously deny that that was the case. Like I said, the senior management members are there. The purpose of, I could have just, for example, sat in my office and said that, okay, as the head of the administration, I don't have to go to her office every time in the morning to give briefings. But like I say, that is not my modus operandi in terms of, like the way I run things. I inform my senior management members about all pending things, including herself.
When you decided, let me see, the decision to remove Mr. Kamara from the Austin project signatory, was that your decision entirely?
It was not my, the fact that, like I said, I had taken it to the senior management meeting call, and we discussed about it. Because
was the mayoress aware of this?
Of course.
She says she's not aware.
Well, the minutes, the literature is there to prove, because that very day, if I could recall, I did not have the privilege of informing you wholly and solely on that process. But that same day, we had also decided that for the mainstream BCC accounts, we decided to also bring on board the acting director of admin. And then all these matters, were, to her knowledge.
So why would she say that she was not aware of this? Well, do you have the minutes?
I have all those documentation.
Will you be able to provide us with these minutes of meetings?
Very willing.
Very well. Please write it down. You will need minutes of this meeting.
Lead counsel. I have. Mr. Batchily,
Yes, ma'am.
in line with what lead counsel is asking you, I want to refer you to the Local Government Act under the governance and administrative structures of the council. Do you agree with me that there is overstaffing during your time, and that there were unproductive departments, which suggests inefficiencies in adherence of the Act's principles of effective service delivery?
Yes.
Is that so?
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
it correct?
I agree with you that there was overstaffing.
Is it correct? First answer.
No, it's not correct.
The statement is not correct.
No, I'm
No,
not
what I'm
talking of-
saying, under the governance and administrative structure,
Yeah,
do you agree that there was overstaffing, one?
yes.
There were inefficient departments that suggested inefficiencies in the service delivery?
Okay, I think I've answered the first one. When I
Yes,
said
there are
yes,
two questions. Yes, there are
there
two
was-
in one.
there indeed
Yes.
was overstaffing.
Overstaffing, yes.
And-
Was there overstaffing?
yeah, there was overstaffing.
Okay, the second question
And I
is...
would also agree that, the overstaffing
Yes,
led to some inefficiencies.
yes.
But I would not say it was,
No, I am saying the overstaffing, what I'm saying is that there were departments.
yeah,
There were unproductive departments.
yeah.
Is that correct?
I would tend
There
to,
were departments that were not productive. A case in point is the audit department.
yes.
Is that correct? Is that a fair statement to make?
Yes, that's a fair statement.
Yes. So that has led
Yeah,
to unsatisfactory service delivery. Is that correct?
yeah, I totally agree.
Yes.
Based on my
So
understanding.
if we look at the governance structure, you go to, I have already given you the example of the audit
Yeah.
issue. Now, when it comes to staff appointments and disciplinary matters, there were serious lapses in that. Is that also correct? Which you did not handle properly. Is that also correct? Is that a fair statement to make?
Yes, it is a fair
All
statement.
right. Okay.
But
Then when
can
you
I-
come to, yes?
Oh, I just wanted to make it clarity.
Yes. Okay, you can go ahead.
Yeah, because you see, the thing is, before 2019,
Yes.
council was responsible for all the employments.
What?
Council was responsible
Yes.
for all the employments,
Yes.
and also things like disciplinary matters and the like.
Yes.
But then after 2019 March,
Yes.
then came the first Local Government Service Commission.
Yes.
We came to
But
take up,
there was an aspect that is within your purview, correct?
I think that was 1 to
1 to 5?
grade 1 to 5 or 1 to 3. I'm not too sure about that. But then I just wanted to make clarity as to these two phases.
Yes.
2019 upwards, the Local Government Service Commission became more instrumental.
All right, that is understood and noted.
Yeah.
So, on the issue of council's land,
Pardon me?
council's land,
Yeah.
land
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
council's own.
Okay.
I believe that you have made a statement, you've made indications in your statement,
Yeah.
in your witness statement, that based on your knowledge, council had 18 properties in Banjul, right? And my statement here is it fair to say that these properties were not effectively and efficiently handled, and there is no transparency in some of the allocations and the sale of some of these lands? Is that a fair statement to make?
I would want to, I want to make a clarity here too, with regards to what you said.
Yes.
But, because first of all the lands that they were leased actually.
Yes.
All these lands we're talking about.
Yes.
They were lands that were leased,
Yes.
and during the process,
Yes.
they were taken to the council,
Yes.
and then the council gave approval.
Yes.
We first started with 80 years,
Yes.
and eventually when this, afterwards, when the council came, the other new council, they started with 30 years. So, yes, all these applications were taken to the council. The council.
Again, were they reviewed?
Yes.
Are you saying that they were reviewed?
Yes.
Once they were issued, the clients that were issued 80 years lease were reviewed downwards to 30 years. Is that what you are saying?
No. What I'm just saying, like there are two separate zones.
Yes.
First of all, we did some allocations that were based on 80 years lease.
But is it true
Yes.
that in some of these allocations,
Yeah.
the transactions were not clear and you could not provide evidence to the effect of some of the sale transactions for some of the properties?
No, like I said, we handled no sale of properties. We handled only leased properties.
Okay.
These were leases.
Did you not mention in your statement that there is particularly, I'm referring to properties leased to Nando. Were there no discrepancies in the documentation and in the amounts paid?
Okay, for Nando,
I'm just giving you one of example.
do you want me to answer on this
Yes,
question? Or?
yes.
Okay, like for example, in that case, I could recall the initial agreement we had, or that we should have had, was with BY Consulting. They applied for the land behind the National Assembly, and then that one was also like taken to the council, and the council gave a blessing for us to have a lease agreement with them. But at some point, after having paid it was $2 million, if I could recall, that he paid to the council. BY Consulting paid to the council. And then subsequently, I think after a week or so, or two, or within that frame of time, we also had a letter from the same BY Consulting saying that, he's having a power of attorney given to EMK stores. So we eventually had our lease agreement with EMK stores.
Council, you may proceed.
Yes, we have the financial aspect of it, of the council. And several payments were made to the office of the mayor. You know Fatou Mbenga?
Yeah, sure.
Who is Fatou Mbenga?
She was an assistant PRO
Okay.
of the
So
council.
there were several payments made in her name for the mayoress. Do you recall this?
Yes.
And for instance, there was a $50,000 payment before that. There is a $400,000 payment, cash allocation to the flood victims. Do you recall this?
Yes.
Why would this money be paid to the mayoress? Is it because that's what you want, or she requested for it?
I don't think it's because of that's what we wanted. I think it was to do with the fact that, she requested this money to work in tandem with some of these civil society organizations like the Red Cross to deal with the issue of, support.
She requested for the money
Yeah, she requested for
to work with the civil service organizations?
Yeah, like the Red Cross.
Is that the usual way? When it comes to the financial manual, is that the usual way of authorizing payments as CEO? The answer is no. I mean, the manual is here.
Well,
You can visit the manual.
I'm not having any problems with the manual here. In fact, what I wanted to say is that the first problem we had
This
was...
brings us back, before you proceed, to the mayor is saying, I do not know, I do not have a hand in it. It's all the CEO's decision.
No,
That's why I'm asking this question.
Lead counsel.
When I have asked the first, no, that's not my evidence, it's her evidence. She will come back. The two of you will subsequently have time to sit down together. We know what we know, of course, but she has the right to give her evidence, right?
Sure.
And we know, I know, let me speak for myself, that that's not how it obtains anyways. But I can't speak for you, can I? I cannot do that. Now, you have spoken about the governance structure itself, vis-a-vis the day-to-day meetings, decision-making, and so on and so forth. They've made it very clear that she is aware through the daily meetings, and she's aware through meetings, minutes of meetings being sent as well to her. The other issue is the issue of monies, financial obligations. We have the manual that says these are how payments should be done, and now we have payments made to the mayor in hundreds of thousands of dollars in her name for her to decide how to spend. Number one, I ask the question, is that the usual way? Is that a normal, legal way?
Can I come in now?
Yes.
All right. I would agree with you in the sense that even ourselves, when we are releasing the money for these victims, okay, at the council level, she explained the need for this to be done, and it was supported. But then, like when it came to the payment itself, I would agree with you that it could have been more, for example, more structured and organized. For example, like first having an assessment already done by the Red Cross, and then brought back to council, so that could form the basis of supporting whatever they are doing, because they are the ones who did the distributions. All what we did as the administration was to go with them to the council and have it blessed, and then we had it prepared for them to take up this responsibility. Because we are not responsible for outreach programs as the administration. But like you say, I agree with you that maybe when this money was effected, when the payment was effected, it could have taken a different kind of direction.
Why in her name?
It was just a practice, to be honest.
It was a practice.
Yes, a practice. Because by the end of the day, I heard you, the two of you, talking about the validity.
It says it's your advice.
No, like how?
The mayor says that is your advice. That is what the CEO advised. Being the longest serving person in council at the time, CEO for so long, I did not know anything about how it works. Is Batchily who advised me that payments can be made in my name.
Like I said, for example, the payments.
No one can speak for Batchily.
The payments cannot be done.
No one can speak for Batchily.
Yeah, I agree.
So some will question, but that is not true. Why do you not say that is not true? I cannot tell that to the mayor without you answering this first. That is her evidence. She's entitled to it. You understand?
Yeah, but
no, hear me out. I want you to understand
sorry.
the process of evidence gathering, Mr. Batchily. I am not saying that what she's saying is true. I'm saying that she's entitled to it. And you are also entitled to your own evidence. Now you are here. What she said, and if she comes back, I will repeat it, the records are there, is that you are the one that advised that payments can be made into her name, that she does not know that you have been there for so long. That is the practice she found on the ground. And she relied heavily on you as the chief executive officer. And so Mr. Batchily paid everything into the mayor's name, millions of dollars, because Mr. Batchily advised that it is the right way to do it. Is that right?
I would say no.
Good. Why do you say no?
I would say no, because like I said initially before you came up with this, your statement, like I said, we as the administration, what we do is to facilitate things.
Yes.
For the council.
Yes.
Because this was mostly a council responsibility. Because the victims involve people, who are their electorates in the various wards.
Yes.
So it's like they came, made up a case at the council level that, support should be given to these people, and then we agreed upon that. So that being the case, this has nothing to do with me advising who to do this or that. Because by the end of the day, like I said, when it came to the issue of the disbursement,
yes,
the ways and means of the disbursement,
yes,
there I agreed with you that it should not have just taken that kind of direction.
I know you agreed that is wrong.
Yeah.
But were you instructed by the mayoress to write the check in her name, of course, in Father Benga's name, because for her, of course, because Father Benga will write the request to say, let me read to you an example is, request for impress for support from Assistant Public Relations Officer to Chief Executive Officer. I write on behalf of the mayor. Every letter will read, I write on behalf of the mayor. And so when the money that is paid to her is for her to withdraw and give to the mayor. You understand that? So you authorize this in her name because she demands that the payments be made in her name. Is that correct?
Can I react to that?
Yes.
Okay. If, for example, Fatumenga at her level, she's also not a member of the council.
Who?
She's Fatumenga.
Yes.
She's a member of the administration.
Right.
All right. So if Fatumenga writes to me as a CEO and specifies that she was instructed,
yes,
or she's doing the request on behalf of the Lord Mayor,
yes,
so which means automatically now this has nothing to do with me giving advices as to whose name it should be written.
I agree.
Yeah, because that request alone, if for example Fatumenga had written to me, I'm just giving a typical example,
yes,
that following the council meeting,
yes,
that authorize for the payment of these amounts for the victims, then that could have taken another different kind of
I agree, Mr. Batchily.
of arrangement. But if you write and tell me as a CEO that I write on behalf of the Lord Mayor, you understand? And when these checks were written, I have never written any check in her name.
Yes.
The checks were written in the names of those who were requesting it. Either in this case, Fatou Mbenga or Emel Ba,
yes,
previously.
Yes.
So now, even if that's the case, that the checks were written in her name, okay, maybe if I had known better, for example.
No, we have gone past that level that you have said that it is wrong.
Yeah, okay.
But we just the idea that it was done as per the advice of the CEO, you are saying that's not correct because the letter is self-explanatory.
Exactly.
It says, I request on behalf of the mayor.
Or I'm directed.
So it's more like a directive than an advice.
Yeah.
Is that your evidence?
Yeah, that's my evidence. And
Exactly.
also, I want to reiterate the fact that most of these requests, I have never written no check in her name.
Yes. No, we know that.
I've never.
We know that.
I write the checks in the names of those who made the request.
Whom she asked to write.
Exactly.
Now, the other issue is, she says for all these payments made to either Emel Ba or to Fatou Mbenga, that for every request, she will call you, sit with you before she raises the request, before she instructs that the letter be written. That for every request that is sent, if it is for donation also, before she writes to you, before she will ask Fatou Mbenga to write to you, she would have already called you, you would have already sat down, and then that is her due diligence. The document did not suggest that. The document suggests that you are only written to, like you said, and then you pay into the person, to the person's name that is making the request. Now, that is what the Lord Mayor was trying to justify by saying that it's the CEO who advises me, because before I write a letter, I call him to come and sit down, and then I ask, well, these people want donation, we were supposed to do this, is there money? And the CEO will advise me before I write, before there's a request. Do you advise the mayors in that format before requests are raised to you or not?
What I can say is that, yes, in some cases that has happened.
In some cases?
Yeah, in some cases,
Those
especially
happen.
like in the cases of donations.
Okay, some cases.
Some of these other donations, like these religious events and whatever. Yes, that used to happen. But like I said, the purpose of sitting down together at times is because of the fact that, yes, we are in control of the vote. So if she comes to us in the form of a meeting and talk about it, that there is a need for this to be done, yes, we in some of those cases I've mentioned, we cooperated.
Yes.
But still, that's still not answering the question that, like, we used to go beyond that point. What we could do is, we see the request coming, maybe from the community. The request will come from the community, be addressed to her. Okay, we look at it, because if you look at the social support,
yes,
in the budgets, it's not just lumped into one. There are quite a few areas. So yes, we do used to look at those things.
In like donations?
Well, like for donations, yes. But I would say that's strictly limited just to donations.
For instance, we have a $20,000 being a cash impress for the payment of a PA system for the mayor upcoming town hall meeting. Again, check raised in the name of Fatou Menga.
Yes.
Paid for the benefit of the Lord Mayors. We have disbursement of media coverage for the 4th town hall meeting on Saturday, 19 March 2022. $30,000 is paid and money given to the Lord Mayor. That's because if Fatou Menga writes on behalf of the Lord Mayor, if anyone writes on your behalf, the person is acting for you.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Now, of course, we have here media consultancy live streaming event, $30,000. And who decides these amounts? Is it you as CEO, or do you just approve and the mayor and her team decides?
I approve, and her team, they decide.
They decide how much, who to pay and who not to pay.
Yes, because
they do the procurement.
Yes, very clear. That's what I wanted to react to.
Go ahead.
Just before you came in, I said the consultation on things like payments were strictly limited to things like donations.
Okay.
But now I hear you mentioning about the town hall. That does not qualify at all. Okay. Most of the decisions of the town hall were by herself and her team.
And you would have been directed to just make payments to her?
Once again.
Okay. Again, we have a similar one, an impress to print 1,000 T-shirts for Mayor's Town Hall meeting. The amount altogether is $200,000. The request was raised by Fatou Menga, request for payment of visibility service. Again, the same language. On behalf of the Lord Mayor of Banjul, I like to request for the payment of 1,000 T-shirts, the cost of which, of course, this is, paraphrasing, is $200,000. Again, this is not donation, it's for procurement.
Yes.
You did not advise this. You did not advise this.
No.
Who did the procurement? She and her team?
No, yes. I think I am not the procurement guy at council.
You are?
I am not the procurement guy.
Yes.
What I was expecting, if that could have been possible, and today could have maybe helped us a lot, was that if the request redirected.
You said, and today you have helped who a lot?
Today it could have helped us a lot because then nobody will be questioning us over these things. Because if at all the request, for example, the hosting of town hall meetings, all right, if it involved certain areas that were wholly and solely under the purview of the procurement.
Right.
Okay, in theory, the request should have stopped then at my office.
Yes.
That we need this amount of T-shirts
Right.
for this event.
Right.
Then I would simply just minute it to the procurement people.
Exactly.
And they do the procurements, bring it back and give it to them.
That's the usual way.
Thank you.
So why, let me list the why. You will just exhaust this and come back to the why. Again, cash impress given for a logistics team for town hall meeting, $25,000 is the request, the usual way, check it in to Fatumbenga for the Lord Mayor. We have a $12,000 package to Mr. Lamin Fati, freelance journalist. The usual way, the abnormal procedure applies. Payment made to Fatumbenga and for the Lord Mayor's allocation for the catering of dinner to entertain councils visiting Mayor of Ostend, Belgium. $69,000 is payments made to Fatumbenga. The request is here. It talks about 3 sheep, 5 canned drinks, 20 packets of water, the chef, the musicians for entertainment, and who made this decision? Were you involved? Were you the one who called the shots to decide how much is spent, what is bought for the entertaining the guest from Ostend, or is it the mayors and her team?
All what I had in such cases was attending to the requests that were made and facilitated the estimated payments that were supposed to be effected.
Yes.
That's where I stopped.
And so the mayor takes over from there.
Sure.
Again, the list goes on. $40,000 is disbursement as cash impress for the Banjul annual Quranic recitation. But back to this. Why was it difficult to say no to the mayors that this is not the usual way of payment?
That was the biggest oversight ever.
That is there?
That was the biggest oversight ever.
I didn't get that part.
I said that was the biggest oversight on my side ever.
I don't know why I didn't get. Oh, biggest
his
oversight.
part.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
on
okay.
that issue.
Okay. Why you call it an oversight?
Yeah, in the sense that, you know, like you have just rightly said, especially based on the previous example we were touching on just before we came to this one.
Right.
Like in the area of procurements for the town hall meetings.
Right.
For example, clearly that's what it should have been, the request.
Yes. So, but why did you classify it as an oversight?
I would say an oversight
will presuppose something different.
because like it was not done.
Yes, but an oversight may mean that you did not know, or you knew, of course, but at the time of making a decision, it has escaped your mind that this is really wrong.
Okay,
That's really what oversight may mean in this situation. I know this is not the usual way. Ordinarily, I am in the position to know. But for whatever reason, it just escaped my mind that this is not the right way to do things. This is multiple approvals.
Yes, yes.
So it would not be an oversight. Maybe there's a better word for it,
Yeah, okay,
but not an oversight.
A better word then.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah, very well.
You understand what I mean? So it's
Very
like you did it once, and your defense is oversight. You may have a pass.
Yeah.
You knew. Ordinarily, you will know by virtue of your longevity, by virtue of your experience as a CEO. Of course, you know it's not the usual payment, but oversight. Second time, maybe the gap happened after 3 months, 4 months, 1 year, 2 years. You may qualify still. Third time, someone else may be very generous to even still give you a pass. Fourth time, someone may still be generous to give you a pass. Fifth time, Mr. Batchily. The sixth time. Seventh, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The list goes on and on and on. It becomes unending. Then that would suggest only one thing. If anybody thinks that, believes genuinely that Mr. Batchily did not benefit from this, because there's nowhere it shows that you have benefited. If anyone is to believe Mr. Batchily did not benefit from this, it can only mean one thing. That either you, or two things. You were forced to do it, or you felt you had no power to stop it. Do you understand what I meant?
Very well.
So which one is it?
I'll come to that.
I'll come to that now, and then you can come back to what you want to say.
Okay, I would go by the last statement that you said.
Which is?
I was expected to go by it.
You are?
I was expected to go by it.
By?
By the process.
The boss?
The process.
The process?
Yes.
I don't understand what you mean.
No, for example, like what I'm just trying to say is the manner in which they wanted to do some of these, for example, procurements.
Right.
With regards to events and all these things.
Right.
All right. So that's why I'm coming in. But then...
No, you still haven't answered the question clearly.
Yeah.
I asked a very specific question.
Okay, can you come again? So
we had already said, by virtue of the number,
yes.
It cannot qualify as an oversight. And you agreed with me.
Yes.
The number is just too much.
Yep.
It becomes a repeated act. It is a practice.
Yes.
So it's no longer an oversight. That's my point. The second point is, since it's no longer an oversight, it means the person approving was aware of the fact that the process is wrong. Okay. If the person is benefiting, it becomes a crime. If you're not benefiting, some other issues may unfold. It's either you are obeying instructions, genuinely believing that you cannot say no, or you are forced to do it. Which one? Is it that you were just obeying instructions, even though it was wrong, but you just followed instructions of the mayors?
That's one thing that I can certainly not say that, for example, I was forced. If I really say that, then I will not be honest.
So what is it then?
You know, I was not forced.
Okay, so you were just following instructions?
I would say I was following instructions.
Knowing fully well it is wrong. What would make you to follow instructions that are unlawful?
Okay, can I react to that in the sense that, for example, a lot of these cases,
right,
we got to know, I would say mostly when the draft audit report came in. Because I was assuming that, for example, some of these procurement matters, especially if they're bringing in for final payments to be made, like you could see that to some extent, they meet up the requirements. They have all these different invoices that were brought in.
Mr. Batchily, there are no, in fact, the only procurement process that is met in any of this is just requisition. Not even in the usual procurement process way, but at least there is a request, which you interpret to be more like a directive anyways.
Yes.
Because it is the mayor speaking, I request XYZ amount. Procurement process has not been triggered here. You know the usual procurement process.
Yeah.
You have been doing it for so many years. Is that not the case?
Yeah.
It doesn't exist here, does it?
In the instances that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yes.
For all the monies given to Father Mega, no procurement process was followed, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so we leave the procurement issue aside. Whatever the audit report would have found out, is that procurement process was not followed. And it is the CEO's responsibility, the mayor's responsibility, and council's responsibility. Because it's easy to sideline the procurement in some instances because they don't approve finances. The chief custodian of the finance is the chief executive officer and the mayor and council. So when you knew that procurement was disregarded, why did you go ahead?
Okay, like I was just earlier on explaining to you that, for example, if the requests are made, eventually before the final payments are made, the documentation is brought again back to my office. I'm just trying to show that in some instances, I would see that maybe, invoices are gathered, for example, invoices are gathered to back up
No, you are
the transactions.
Here, you are making, let me help you, just to make it very easy for you, Mr. Batchily. For instance, the voucher number 220000961 says cash impressed allocation for, underline the word impressed, we'll come back to it, for the cost of accommodation, food and refreshment of council's guests from Senegal. Do you agree that this calls for procurement of accommodation, food and refreshment?
Yes.
And what is the usual way? What is the usual way?
Like the procurement people would
Yes.
go maybe look up for at least 1, 2, 3 different accommodation centers.
Perfect. And then payments, if they are to be done in relation to procurement, how are they supposed to be made? Is it not made directly to the payee, the people that are supplying these services or goods?
Yes.
Good. It was paid to Fatou Mbenga, who is not supposed to be the payee. You agree?
Yes.
So procurement is not even in question. So when you signed the check, you were in the position to know that Fatou Mbenga is not supposed to receive this money for the mayor, correct?
Yes.
That's my point. As at the time you are signing it, the money is being signed. The check is signed in the name of Fatou Mbenga for the mayor. Mr. Batchily or the finance director, they knew that this money should not be signed in the name of Fatou Mbenga for the mayors. But Mr. Batchily went ahead and still signed it. Now I want you to, it's just be giving you a chance. I want you to explain to the commissioners in the best possible way why Mr. Batchily knew the law, knew the process, disregarded the process. I don't want to believe Mr. Batchily benefited from it, but my belief again is irrelevant. So why was that the case? Do you have an explanation for that?
The explanation is that it shouldn't have been done.
I agree. That's why I brought it up. Yes. The things you have done right, Mr. Batchily, I did not bring them up.
Yeah.
There are things you have done right, so many. Everybody have done something right in their workplaces. So many. That's why when you say people focus on what the things they have done right, I don't focus on that. That's not why we're here. What is the problem that will cause you, an experienced CEO, to make payments that are unlawful, but yet still you went ahead with it? Even when you don't even know how it is spent. What can you say?
I can say that, like I say, it shouldn't have been done.
Is it loyalty to the mayors?
No, I don't say so.
No, I think it was you who said that the mayoress is the best mayor you have ever served under. Whether it's you or Mr. Jonga, is that you? Did you say that statement?
No, I never.
You are entitled to that statement, don't get me wrong.
No, I never said that.
Okay. But is it loyalty?
I will not.
Is it influence?
I will not call
Is it following directives?
Okay, to be manly enough, I'll say following directives. That might have not been very right.
That were 100% wrong.
Wrong, yeah.
Don't choose your words in that manner. Like you said, to be man enough. If we are wrong, we are wrong. Don't choose your words in that manner. But this is just absolutely clear. Absolutely clear. Do you know whether the mayors had financial benefit from this?
No, to be honest,
Good.
I won't know.
Were you supposed to be very much careful in making sure that you don't authorize payments that would be wasted by either corruption or malpractice or any kind?
It's highly possible.
As CEO, that would have been your responsibility. And that would have been your responsibility to make sure payments to authorize are authorized in the usual manner so that you minimize fraud.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the people of Banjul that you serve as well, they should have equal opportunity to compete for these things.
For this, yeah.
We deny them that when we do it wrong.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Good. Does the mayoress know that there was a procurement unit?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Does the mayoress know at the time that there was a contracts committee?
Yes.
So the mayoress knew that then the payments that were made to her was wrong. The same way you knew. She knew that this is not the usual way for procurement.
Yes, because there was an existing procurement unit.
Yes.
Maybe not a very advanced unit in terms of its.
But there is still a procurement unit.
Yes.
There is still a contracts committee. And
Yeah.
she knew about this.
Sure.
And you have been very honest because she said that she was the one who formed the procurement unit when she came in 2018. I have no reason to deny it, to disagree with that. But is that correct?
I would rather say that when they came as a council, I did go to her office and told her about the need to strengthen this procurement unit.
Actually, strengthen and initiating are two words apart.
No, let me make it very clear, because there was already a procurement office. So it's
Already.
like she did not initiate it.
So her claim that she initiated the procurement unit is wrong.
No, certainly that's not.
It's wrong.
That's not correct.
Okay. It's important
That's not correct.
because there are things that you are the only independent person that can shed light on, because you have been in the past and in the present.
Yeah.
Of course, we hope that every administration that comes after another would be better. That's development.
Yeah.
Is that not the case?
Sure.
That's development. But when that assertion was made, we cannot say it's not true. But I knew I will ask the person that was there before and that is there now, as at the time she was. Okay, we have passed that, because you have already provided the answer that we needed. Correct?
Yeah.
Now, how did you feel knowing fully well the mayoress was aware of the procurement unit, was aware of the contracts committee, but yet still demanded monies to be paid to her for her to execute the manner of payment and through proxies, through either Fatou Mbengue or ML Ba? How did you feel first? Because that would not have been what you are used to.
Yes, certainly that's not what I was used to.
Exactly.
In the past.
Yes, in the past,
That's not
you served on administrations.
Yes.
Is that not the case?
Yes.
And so you know what you're being exposed to is totally is the word unorthodox, very unusual. How did you feel?
Times I used to feel troubled.
Come again?
I used to feel troubled.
Go ahead.
If I am really honest to my conscience,
Yes.
I used to feel troubled, because by the end of the day, it boiled down to thinking of whether some of these disbursements that were being made, were they done in the right way? And in the event they're not done in the right way, it's like there could be any repercussions in the future.
Of course. What do you mean done in that way? Is where the money is spent. Okay, fine. Now we know the disbursement didn't fall the normal way. But you are worried because of the idea that whether the money was spent for the purpose it was requested.
Yes.
That's what made you worried.
Yes.
And have you ever had an answer?
I give you, can I give you a typical example?
Yes.
It's like when you talked about the 400,000
Yes.
that was spent for the fire victims.
Yes.
Is it Hagan Street or William Street?
Yes.
Okay, for example, when the documentations came eventually
Yes.
to council, it's like I was thinking that maybe all the beneficiaries, for example, should have consented to monies having been received by the council
Yes.
as form of donations
Right.
for the fire or whatever. But I got to learn that eventually that was not the case. And that made made me feel a bit troubled, because by the end of the day, it would have been very difficult to convince even the auditors that this particular amount of money was distributed to people.
Exactly.
And just saying that they are, of course, distributed to people is one thing, but then showing people who are from an institutional setup that this was actually the case could have been made more easy. For example, if it was having attachments of
Yes.
maybe sundry vouchers. Mr. So-and-so received this amount, signed for it. Mrs. So-and-so signed for this, things of that nature, flowing.
Exactly. And before money like that can be mismanaged, for instance, before it is mismanaged, council have other priorities as per the act. So you would rather see that amount being spent in a rather useful venture than to be spent in a manner in which it cannot be accounted for, correct?
Yeah, but that is after it was discovered that the accountability aspect of it.
That's what I'm saying.
was
I'm
not-
saying
was not-
you rather,
Yeah.
you are disturbed because you rather see that amount being spent in a more productive manner for the benefit of the inhabitants of Banjul than to be spent in a way that even you as CEO, you begin to wonder whether it is spent in the right way.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
For instance, schools. You know, in this country, most people, you and I will agree, that do not know the responsibility of council in relation to education. You know that. I will admit, I myself do not know a lot about councils. We don't even pay attention to council, Mr. Batchily. It was a world of its own. You know that,
Yeah.
right? But education, for the jurisdiction that each council oversees or administers, they have a primary role in relation to schools. Most people don't know. You agree with me, correct? It's in the act.
Yeah.
It's in the act. People can just get it and fine. We don't read, all of us don't read in this country. I never read this. Hospitals, health centers. Because people pay tax. The same way we pay tax to GRA, the same way we pay tax to the area council. Correct?
Yes.
The rates, license, you name it. And you even tax, even hawkers, even someone who wants to do a business for a day needs to pay tax, compound rates, you just name it. Now, that is why, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Yeah.
Is that not the case?
Yeah.
I give you, I pay my tax to you, and I expect you to do something for me in return. Even God, when you pray, you expect him to do something for you in return.
Answer to your question.
Yeah, you expect blessings.
Yeah, but can I make an intervention at that juncture?
Go ahead.
If you don't mind. Okay, you know, if you look at the act,
Right?
they've mentioned education, I think
Right.
education, health,
Right?
but I think
Agriculture.
agriculture, that was something that should have been within the framework of decentralization,
Yes.
that eventually at the time that this act was being consolidated on,
Yes.
I think the whole purpose was to have these areas within the context of decentralization.
No. Decentralization is different. Decentralization
Yes.
is devolution of power is different. What
No.
are you talking about? Do you mean to say you have no obligation in relation to education?
Just hear me out, sir.
I want to understand you. I want the
for
commission to
example,
understand you.
the reason is that if you look at the present structures,
Yes.
education is responsible for all the most of the schools that are in the country.
Absolutely.
Despite in whatever.
Well, absolutely. The Ministry
region
of
or
Education
whatever.
should be responsible, even if you have decentralization.
Okay. Now these areas.
Because you know why? You are only going to be responsible for your area. You are not experts in education. You're not experts in curriculum, formulation of subjects, and so on and so forth. That's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, but then that's why I was trying to build up a case.
Yes.
In the sense that we're looking at this act
Yes.
within the process of decentralization.
Yes.
So that if, for example, schools are decentralized,
Yes.
in each, for example, in each municipality,
Yes.
the council would take up the running of schools.
Yes.
And also things like hospitals,
Right.
health centers, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, but then in the case of the educational sponsorships that we are talking about,
Right.
I went to the mayor's office,
Right.
yeah, and I made it known to her that I think it will be of more transparency if the council can form a committee. I did it once, I did it twice, I did it 3 times.
A committee of,
A committee, educational committee,
yes, like it's said in the act.
yes, who would be responsible
Yes.
for all the requests
Yes.
for educational sponsorships.
Right.
Like let them deal with the request as a more professional body.
Right.
Because they would have had more knowledge about educational matters
Yes.
than the council itself.
Yes.
Yeah, but I realized that she was still preferring to go with the other way in which people from the community would write.
She was what?
People from the community would write for assistance straight to her office.
Than schools.
You
Okay,
understand?
they would write straight to her office.
Yes.
That's
For
what
example,
she prefers.
yes. Well, I'm not saying that's but that's what continued, despite the number of advices that I gave her with regards to that.
So you proposed a committee,
Yes, and
independent, transparent committee to better advise even council
Yes.
in relation to education,
yes,
whether it is for sponsorship
Yes.
or for rehabilitation of educational structures,
Yes.
or for so on and so forth, wherever you can come in
yeah.
and help, right? And she says, no, I prefer,
The director of planning is a witness to this,
yes.
and also the advisor to council.
Okay. And she prefers to have all these requests to pass through her office.
Yes.
So why do you think she prefers that? Mr. Batchily, there's a problem in this country.
Not talking about the eligibility. I'm not touching on that at all.
Talking about?
The eligibility of that system. That's not where I'm touching on. But the thing is,
My question
if I want to answer that question, I will give you an answer which is from because like I'm not a politician.
even, no, look.
So I was thinking.
When
maybe I
there
could
is a
have-
problem and we shy away from the problem, addressing the problem, we don't have a solution. You see, this country is ours, all of us. I've always been saying, nobody is more Gambian than Patrick Gomez, and I am not any more Gambian than any other Gambian. But some people believe they are more Gambian than others. You know, George Orwell, Animal Farm, all animals are equal. Some are more equal than the others. Now is the time we talk about the problem, Mr. Batchily. The politicians will always be politicians. You understand that? You have council's interest, and you have the mayor's interest. And so to have the request being sent to her office will only make any leader to look good. That is the fact. Do you not agree with that?
Yes?
That's the fact. That is the honest truth.
But that's not where I came from.
That's not?
That's not where I came from.
So why you came?
Where I came from.
I don't understand what you mean.
Okay, it's like you were saying, you were explaining that it's obvious that everybody wants everything to look good on them by virtue of being politician. Is that what you mean? Let me have a good understanding of your question.
The mayor is insisting on having the payments and requests to be made to her,
Directly to her office.
as opposed to having a committee.
Yes.
Would only serve a self-interest. That's the reality.
I did not deny that.
Yes.
What I'm just saying is, it's like you're asking me about my own personal perception about it.
Of course.
Remember,
you are an expert in this. You are the CEO, and therefore you are in the position to speak about what your experience are and what your opinion is. You are in the position to do that.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to come in. Because like I say, some of the ways and means we used to do things.
Yes.
I had at some point telling you here that all the ways and means in which councils used to work was equal, was the same.
Yes.
That's not true. That's definitely not true.
That's not true?
No.
Okay.
No. Because I could remember very well different opinions that I had made use of or was part of. Like, for example, when I came to school, when I came to the council, they were having a school called Gabajahumpa.
Yes.
Gabajahumpa School.
Correct.
Yeah, it was created by one of your commissioners, Commissioner Fall.
Right.
Okay, I remember all the sponsorships for education. For example, the priority used to be first towards taking them to the school.
Correct.
Rather than paying for them in other schools.
Right.
I'm not saying it never used to happen.
I understand.
But the main focus.
Right.
So I have seen different scenarios.
You had a structure.
Thank you.
You were used to a structure.
Thank you.
And so what you were exposed to in 2018 was not a structure.
No, that wasn't a structure.
Exactly. That's why I said you were the person to say it. I was not there.
I just wanted to take you to my own memory lane.
So that you can go on with that.
You can appreciate what I was saying.
Absolutely, you can go on with that.
I heard about it, all the council. And then the other one, there was another one which really made me very, very surprised, but then, like, as you said, you hear everything. Like the previous council that they took from, I heard her saying that there was even no one vehicle.
Yes.
That was in operation.
Yes.
I think my conscience would not lie if I keep quiet about that. Because what happened was, most of these compactors,
yes,
it was eventually later we got to discover that making them operational in this part of the world is not very easy. Because simply because they did not like moisturized materials being loaded onto them.
Right.
It eventually makes the hydraulic system weak.
Right.
So it is not that that particular council, before they came, were not doing nothing, they just had one vehicle. I would not want to be part of that, because that was not a true picture.
But again, you see,
that was not a true picture.
That's why I said that for any mayor to come and say that this is what I inherited, it will be difficult to say, no, that's not true. We have you, luckily, who was there and who served with the mayors. So you are the right person to give context, to give evidence, to give real-time facts in relation to what obtained.
And I will be happy to do that.
And so we thank you for that. We thank you for that. You understand that? So we will come back to that at some point. So back to what I was talking about, for instance, education, agriculture, health. You read the text, it tells you that the Local Government Act 2, Education Services, the council shall, within its area of jurisdiction, ensure the schools are established and operated in accordance with the Education Act for the time being in force, ensure that the establishment and management of council schools are properly monitored, monitor the establishment and operations of all categories of schools, encourage the establishment of income-generating and skills-enhancing projects or programs in all schools, and carry out such other functions as the responsible Secretary of State shall by regulations prescribe. So there's always room to fill. There's always a gap to fill. There's always an avenue to come in and just support, right?
Yeah.
Even if it is infrastructure.
Yeah.
Even if it is infrastructure. You understand that? Because, again, so much is taken from the people. So much is taken from the people. And so we can always do better, Mr. Batchily. You and I will agree that we can always do better. The same goes to agriculture. The same goes to health care. I am a prosecutor. And I have had medical doctors giving evidence. And sometimes it's difficult to maintain them in court for a long time, because they tell you that in some places in our public health system, there are serious problems. Sometimes even women will deliver on the floor. I'm telling you facts, something I know. Like I said, I live here. The area council, they have a role to play. You understand? You and I will agree on that.
Oh, yes.
They have a role to play.
Massive.
You can even construct a maternity ward, buy beds, give back to the people. You don't need, nobody needs to wait for anybody when you're taking a dialysis from the people. It's hardly done. Mr. Batchily knows that improvement can be made in this area. From Basse to BCC. You know, we shy from our responsibility.
Yeah, Council, I have.
Yes.
Yes, I have a question. Mr. Batchily, you've been taken through by the lead council on some of the responsibilities of council as outlined in the Act. And why is it that, for instance, I take an example on the payment of scholarships. You have paid, this is just a snippet, 793,290, which lacked documentation, which breached audit protocols, and which did not comply with accounting rules. Why should this happen? Because this is contained in the audit reports. Why should this happen?
Ma, can I kindly ask you to be more explicit about the particular?
I'm giving you an example of the payment of scholarships, for instance, the support you give to scholarships.
Yeah.
Why is it that there is lack of documentation? One, you do not follow audit rules, and you do not follow accounting principles, and you have disbursed $793,290. This is just a snippet from the audit report of, let me give you the year, that is for the year 2021 and 2022.
Can I kindly ask which institution was that?
What?
Can I kindly ask which institution was supposed to have been benefited from that payment?
This is a cumulative, just
Oh,
a
it's
bit of a cumulative of what you have paid in the form of support for, to supposedly needy students for their scholarships. But you did not, there is no documentation to prove that. There's no audit to, you flouted the audit rules. There is nothing to show that this is what you have done. And you understand, the accounting rules were also flouted. And you cannot account for these monies.
I'm still coming to terms with the question. Were these, you're talking about payments that were made to schools, but they did not have supporting documents?
Yes.
Normally, all the payments...
Students to individual students, etc.
Yes, I know that some payments have been made to individuals
But over the years, consistently,
to go on whatever.
partly, internal audit reports would show that scholarships were paid, but there are no documentation. There are no supporting documents to show who is the recipient.
Yeah,
To
but
prove that, yes, indeed, when you said you paid, for instance, 50,000 for Mr. Y,
yeah,
indeed, that 50,000 was paid. No evidence is provided for that kind of situation. And I'm just giving you an example of a total amount
yeah.
that is calculated on a brief period of, let's say, some few months in 2021 and 2022, which gives you this amount of money.
Okay, may I talk of instances where, as part of
I
it,
am asking you why. Why is it that you did not have evidence?
yeah, because normally, that's what I'm reacting to. Normally, all the requests for payments we have with regards to school issues, we have the request for the payments that are to be done, and we also used to have as attached supporting documents. We also eventually used to have receipts of, like these monies that were actually spent.
Yes.
But maybe if you tell me in some, there were no supporting documents,
Yes.
that will pose me a big problem now.
Yes, but,
To understand.
but you and the finance director signed these checks and disbursed these monies.
I agree to that.
Sorry?
I agree to that.
Yes.
That we
So
s-
why did you have to sign the checks, disburse these monies without evidence?
Without evidence of the need of what we are paying for?
Yes.
Wow. I don't know if I could request to have some of these things shown to me.
It's contained in the audit report for 2021 and 2022. And prior to that, there are a series of amounts of monies that are paid
Yeah,
in the name of scholarships
yeah.
that have no supporting documents, no evidence of the recipients having received the payment for such fees, etc.
If you see the reason why I'm making these interventions, it's because there have been many schools that check payments were made in the name of the schools themselves.
Yes. I'm
So-
listening.
Yeah, you also have, those kind of scenarios too.
Yeah. So, why?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There are some cases where the name of the schools are on the check itself that was released for payment towards the educational support.
The audit is saying something different, Mr. Batchily.
Yes.
The audit is saying something different.
Okay, now it's like, okay, we'll stick to the area you are talking about right now.
Yes.
Yes. So there is like, I'm still, because some of these things should contain all those documentation.
So
because
why?
it
Now,
was based on
I
the-
am asking you because you are the one that writes the check together with the finance director.
Yeah.
And you should be in a position to at least have the supporting documents before you write the check. Is that not the case? Is that not
Exactly.
the procedure?
Exactly, that's the
So
procedure.
the audits are saying these documents are not seen, and then monies have been expended. And they give you a sum total, which is just a snippet of what you have been expending in the name of scholarship.
Yes, I
You
confirm.
agree?
Yeah, I agree with what you are saying.
Thank you. Council, you may proceed.
Actually, I have some vouchers I want to show you. payments made to Aisetunjai. You know Aisetunjai?
There are two Esatunjai I used to work with at the council.
The mayor's PA.
Ah, okay.
The first voucher is voucher number 0000195, sorry, 22000925. Two 0096. 0967. Yes, these are payments made to Aisetunjai. We have 22000926, version number 146. Yes, please go through these vouchers. Do you recognize those vouchers?
Yeah, yeah.
Are those PCC vouchers that you authorized?
Yes.
All right. I also have may I please see the vouchers? You're done?
Yeah, just give me.
You can take your time, Mr. Batchily, and go through it.
Yeah, I'm familiar with this.
We apply to tender the voucher bearing the voucher numbers that we have already read before the commission to be admitted into evidence and marked as exhibits. These are payments made to Aisetunjai.
The first voucher is dated the 17th of October 2022, and the payee's name is Aissatou Njie, Mayor's PA. And the voucher number is BCC PV 22000926. The second voucher is dated the 28th of February 2019, and the voucher number is 146, and the payee's name is Aissatou Njie, Mayor's personal assistant. The third voucher is dated the 12th of November 2020, and the PV number is 0967. The payee's name is Aissatou Njie, Lady Councillor. That's the third voucher. The fourth voucher is dated the 8th of June 2022, and the payee's name is Aissatou Njie, and the voucher number is BCC PV 22000096. The fifth and the final voucher is dated the 17th of October 2022, and the payee's name is Aissatou Njie, Mayor's PA, and the voucher number is BCC PV 22000925. These 5 payment vouchers are admitted together in a bundle as exhibit, and they are marked as LGC/BCC/MB/004.
As the Commission places. I also have some vouchers here. These are various payments made and classified as Council's support. The first is number 0735. The second, PV 22001132. The third, 0791. Fourth, 0836. At the fifth, 22000253. Seventh, 0821. 8 is version number 21000605. 9 is number 0608. The 10th voucher, 22000664. 11 is 22000042. The 12th voucher is 0221. The 13th voucher is 1190. The 14th voucher is 22001380. And then we have 22000777. You also have voucher number 220076. And the last one we have is 22000772. Please look at this set of vouchers and tell us whether they are Banjul City Council vouchers, whether you've recognized them as at the time you were there as Chief Executive Officer.
Lead counsel.
So actually you confirm that these are vouchers
Yes.
of BCC.
Yeah.
We apply to tender the vouchers as, and we have read the voucher numbers for the commission to be admitted and marked as exhibits.
The payment vouchers already identified by the witness are hereby admitted as follows. The PV dated the 4th of October 2022, the pay's name is Modu Seka. A PV dated the 4th of October 2022, the pay's name is Senabu Jilen. A PV dated the 4th of October 2022. The pay's name is Baba Sar, care of WAM Taekwondo. A PV dated the 16th of December 2022. The pay's name is Betty Mendy. PV dated the 10th of December 2019. The payee's name is Bernard Tobacco Road. A PV dated the 9th of February 2022. The payee's name is Babukar Sar, Desert B Football Club. A payment voucher dated the 24th of May 2022. The payee's name is Banjul Padul. A PV dated the 27th of September 2022. The payee's name is Bena Banjul South. A PV dated the 27th of April 2021. The payee's name is Dauda Drame, Senior Supervisor C/S. A PV dated the 3rd of November 2021. The payee's name is New Homes Agency. A PV dated the 29th of April 2022. The payee is Sarab Medical Center. A PV dated the 7th of July 2022. The payee's name is Buri Ndao. A PV dated the 28th of April 2022. The payee's name is Choronjai. A PV dated the 26th of April 2022. The payee's name is Jojo Keta, care of Ami Johnson, Lancaster Street. A PV dated the 31st of October 2022. The payee's name is Fatumata Sidibe. And the final voucher is dated the 28th of April 2022. And the payee's name is Hadikoka James Senegal Street. And for the details of all of these payments are for council support. That's the description on the details of payment for all these vouchers that have been listed. These vouchers are admitted in a bundle together as exhibit in evidence, and they are marked as LGC/BCC/MB/005.
As the commission places, we also have payments made to Binta Conte, the secretary to the mayor. You know Binta?
Yeah. Yeah, I know her.
We have voucher number 22000081. Two 0000080. Two 001120 and 22000785. we apply to have the vouchers admitted into evidence and marked accordingly.
The 4th of October 2022, the pay's name is Binta Conte, Secretary. The payment voucher dated the 31st of October 2022, the pay's name is Binta Conte, Secretary. The payment voucher dated the 3rd of June 2022, the pay's name is Binta Conte, Secretary. And the final payment voucher is dated the 3rd of June 2022, and the pay's name is Binta Conte, Secretary. These 4 payment vouchers are admitted in evidence as exhibit, and they are marked as LGC/BCC/MB/006.
As the Commission places. So, Batchily, we also have a set of vouchers paid to Omar B.J. Ture. Who is he?
He was the deputy mayor.
All right. We have $100 is paid to Omar B.J. Ture. There was a loan. We also have $50,000 is paid to Omar B.J. Ture for council's contribution towards the visit of the Khalifa of, is it Tijania?
I think more is Nyasen. It's like this Kaula religious establishment. He was part of that.
We have $10,000 for as honorarium for coordinating the delegation from Ostend, Belgium. We have $10,000 for cash impress for the facilitation of the logistics in attending various programs on behalf of the Lord Mayors. We have $30,000 as 1/6 for PCC Deputy Mayor. By the way, I'm sure you know they are not entitled to this, huh? 1/6, are they? The political branch, are they entitled to 1/6? The councillors?
Well, I think it's more of a gesture.
The microphone? And
It's more of a gesture. Well, I don't think it was like a right for them to be paid.
They are not entitled?
No.
Okay.
But they just did it out of...
22,597.
Sorry, let me get the answer clear from the witness.
Please.
Are they entitled to be paid?
No, by right they're not entitled to be paid, but we just do it for humanitarian grounds.
You said?
We just do it for humanitarian reasons.
Humanitarian reasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have 22,597 payment of monthly council allowance for the month of October 2020. $8,000 for the purchase of fuel to be admitted, to be shown to you. Once you confirm that, we will apply to have it admitted into evidence and marked as exhibit. To admit these documents into evidence and mark them as exhibits.
of October 2020, the pay's name is, the details of payment, sorry, is being payment of monthly council allowance for the month of October 2020. The bank schedule is attached. And this is, these payments are made from the Trust Bank account of the council. A PV dated the 6th of July 2022. The pay's name is Omar BJ Toure. And the purpose of the payment is in respect of disbursement as 1/6 for BCC Deputy Mayor. The payment voucher dated the 31st of December 2019. The pay's name is Omar BJ Toure, Deputy Mayor, and the details of payment is being disbursement as cash impress for the facilitation of logistics in attending various programs on behalf of the Lord Mayoress in relation to the 2020 New Year celebration. A payment voucher dated the 31st of October 2020. The payer's name is Omar BJ Toure, and the purpose for the payment, that is payment in respect of honorarium for coordinating the delegation from Ostend, Belgium. The payment voucher dated the 2nd of June 2022. The payer's name is Omar BJ Toure, and the payment is in respect of council's contributions towards the visit of the Caliph of Fadatu Tijaniya. The payment voucher dated the 12th of November 2021. The payer's name is Omar BJ Toure, and the payment is in respect of payment of loan granted to be, I cannot see what is written here, as from the monthly salary as attached. There is something missing. The final payment voucher is dated the 31st of October 2022, and the payer's name is Omar BJ Toure, and the payment is in respect of being disbursement for the purchase of fuel for an official trip to North Bank region on behalf of Mayor. These payment vouchers are admitted together in a bundle as exhibit in evidence, and they are marked as LGC/BCC/MB/007. I believe, Council, this
As
is
the Commission places.
Yes, this is a convenient point to stop. Is there any further? We will continue with him tomorrow morning.
Very well, Chairperson.
Mr. Batchily, thank you so much. But before I discharge you, you were requested to bring copies of the leases of the 18 properties you mentioned in your statement. Have you done so?
No, I don't recall you giving me those instructions.
You were not requested to bring copies of these leases.
But I can sort it out for you.
Yes, kindly bring us the copies of these leases.
I'll do that for you.
You understand, so that we can admit them, because these leases were done during your tenure.
Yeah.
Yes, so kindly provide us with these copies.
We'll do that.
Yes, thank you. We may rise. So see you tomorrow morning. Thank you.